Welcome, everyone, to today's debate on atheism. I'm your moderator for the session. We have two speakers who will be sharing their viewpoints. The proponent for today's topic is Alex, who will start with their constructive speech outlining the reasons and arguments in favor of atheism. Following Alex, the opponent, Jordan, will present their constructive speech, which will counter the position taken by Alex, offering arguments against atheism. As there is no time limit, I encourage both speakers to present their thoughts comprehensively and at a pace that ensures clarity for the audience. Alex, please take the floor for your opening remarks.
Thank you, moderator. I'd like to begin by situating atheism within the broader context of human understanding. Atheism, at its core, represents a commitment to a worldview that is based on evidence and reason rather than supernatural beliefs or divine revelations. It is not a belief system itself, but rather a lack of belief in gods or deities. My advocacy for atheism is grounded in several pillars, which include the appreciation for empirical evidence, the application of scientific method, the adherence to critical thinking, and the pursuit of moral values that are derived from a rational consideration of human well-being rather than divine commandments. Firstly, in a world where we seek to understand the nature of reality, it is crucial that we rely upon methods that have proven themselves reliable. The scientific method, with its rigorous standards for evidence and reproducibility, provides us with a solid foundation for discerning truths about the world. Religion often requires faith without evidence, or despite contradicting evidence, which is antithetical to this rigorous process. Secondly, atheism encourages critical thinking and skepticism. It inspires individuals to question long-held beliefs and to revise their conclusions in light of new evidence. This dynamic process of inquiry is essential for progress and stands in contrast to doctrinal rigidity often found in religious ideologies. Furthermore, atheists often build their moral framework on a secular humanistic outlook, which posits that humans are capable of determining right and wrong through rational discourse and consensus, rather than through adherence to ancient texts or divine authority. This allows for a flexible and adaptive system of ethics that can respond to contemporary challenges and moral dilemmas. Lastly, atheism is not a claim of certainty about the non-existence of gods. It is simply the state of being unconvinced by the theistic claims presented thus far. Atheism promotes a worldview where beliefs are proportioned to the evidence available, fostering a society that values honest inquiry and intellectual humility. It is not a nihilistic viewpoint, but one that cherishes human potential and the pursuit of knowledge for the betterment of all. In conclusion, atheism offers a positive and robust alternative to theism, grounded in reason and a compassionate consideration of what it means to be human in a vast, indifferent universe. It teaches us to derive meaning from our connections with others, to seek truth through questioning, and to build ethical systems that reflect our shared humanity. Thank you.
Thank you, moderator, and thank you, Alex, for your perspective. However, I propose an alternative view that suggests atheism is not necessarily the most rational stance, nor does it fully account for the depth of human experience. I argue for a worldview that both acknowledges the limits of empirical science and embraces the intrinsic human need for meaning, purpose, and wonder, which I argue often finds its expression in theistic beliefs or spirituality. Firstly, the assumption that empirical evidence is the only path to knowledge is a philosophical position known as scientism, which is not self-evident and is, itself, non-empirical. Not all truths about our existence can be discovered, tested, or measured by science. For example, ethical principles, such as the wrongness of cruelty or the importance of love, cannot be deduced from empirical data alone. These are truths understood through philosophical reasoning, subjective experience, or cultural consensus, arenas where theism provides depth and context. Additionally, critical thinking doesn't necessarily lead to atheism. It can also guide an individual to theism or agnosticism. History is replete with brilliant thinkers from various scientific and philosophical disciplines who maintained a belief in God or a higher power. The complexity of the universe, the existence of objective moral values, and the very fact of consciousness can all suggest, to a critical mind, that there is more to reality than the material world. Morality rooted in a theistic framework doesn't necessarily equate to an inflexible dogma. In fact, many religious traditions emphasize moral reasoning, the evolution of understanding, and adaptation to new circumstances. There's also an argument to be made that without a transcendent anchor, morality may devolve into subjectivism, leaving society without a stable foundation for justice and human rights. Lastly, atheism's intellectual humility and acknowledgement of uncertainty can be mirrored in theistic agnosticism, which combines a humble search for understanding with an openness to the possibilities beyond the empirically known. I believe that theism provides space for mystery and awe, which are profound aspects of the human experience, without necessarily contradicting scientific and rational inquiry. In conclusion, adopting a theistic stance can be a reasonable and rational choice, grounded in aspects of human experience that go beyond empirical evidence, including our moral intuitions, the quest for meaning, and the wonderment at the cosmos which science unravels but does not fully explain. Thank you.
Thank you to both Alex and Jordan for their insightful contributions. We will now proceed to the cross-examination round of the debate. During this round, each speaker will have the opportunity to question the other on points raised in their opening remarks. This is a chance for both sides to engage directly and challenge each other's positions, requesting clarification and elaboration on specific arguments. To ensure a fair and productive discussion, I ask that each speaker respectfully listen and respond concisely to the questions posed. We will begin with Jordan, the opponent, who will have the opportunity to question Alex first. Jordan, please proceed with your questions for Alex.
Alex, you eloquently presented atheism as a paradigm built upon empirical evidence and scientific inquiry. But isn't it true that the scientific method itself is limited to the observable, measurable realm, and thus silent on metaphysical or existential questions? How does atheism address the deeper human questions of purpose, meaning, and value that are not necessarily within the purview of empirical science?
Jordan, that is a thoughtful question and points to the fascinating interplay between what we can observe and measure and the existential inquiries we all face as human beings. While it's true that the scientific method is designed to analyze phenomena within the material universe, the insight and understanding gleaned from this method have profound implications for our existential and metaphysical inquiries. Science, although not equipped to answer every conceivable question, provides us with a framework for understanding the mechanics of the world around us, which is pivotal for grounding any discussion about purpose or meaning. Regarding questions of purpose and value, atheism does not negate the search for these, but approaches them from a different perspective. Instead of deriving meaning from an external, divine source, atheism encourages individuals to find their own meaning within the context of the observable world and our interpersonal relationships. The human capacity for empathy, social bonding, and community building can be seen as a natural source of purpose and value. Moreover, human creativity and freedom allow for a self-determined construction of meaning, which honors the subjective experiences and diverse aspirations of individuals. Atheism views values and ethics as human constructs that have evolved alongside our social development, with human well-being as their touchstone. This secular moral framework is flexible and adaptable, capable of evolving with our expanding knowledge and understanding. Through rational debate and ethical inquiry, we can explore the deeper aspects of human existence without reliance on the supernatural, fostering a moral landscape that can address the unique challenges of our time. Ultimately, atheist perspectives provide the autonomy for each person to grapple with and establish their own sense of meaning and value, based on shared human experiences and the collective enterprise of civilization, always with the intent of enhancing the common good.
Alex, you've heard Jordan's remarks and posed some intriguing points during the cross-examination. It's now your turn to ask your question. What would you like to inquire or challenge in Jordan's position?
Jordan, you suggest that theism can provide depth and context to human experience in ways that atheism does not, particularly when it comes to moral principles, meaning, and purpose. However, can you elaborate on how these concepts necessarily require a theistic belief system? Additionally, if moral values can indeed evolve and adapt within religious contexts. As you mentioned, doesn't this suggest that morality is not tethered to divine command, but to social and cultural progress, which can also be achieved in a secular context?
Certainly, Alex. While I understand the viewpoint that morality, meaning, and purpose can evolve independently of theism, the argument for their grounding within a theistic framework speaks to broader ontological questions. It pertains to where these concepts originate and how they find ultimate justification. The theistic perspective posits that moral values are not merely socio-cultural constructs, but are reflective of an underlying moral order that transcends individual or collective human invention. This moral order is anchored in the character of a divine being, which provides a robust grounding for objective moral values that empower ethical discourse and behavior beyond mere convenience or consensus. Furthermore, the sense of purpose and meaning associated with theism is not only about the narrative we construct for ourselves, but is also about the notion of aligning with a purpose that precedes and surpasses our own existence. This concept resonates with the human aspiration to be part of something greater than the self, facilitating a connection to a transcendent story that can imbue life with a sense of direction and significance that persists even in the face of adversity or societal shifts. It is important to note that while moral values may evolve within religious contexts, and indeed they should, as our understanding grows, that does not necessarily refute their divine origin or significance. It can be seen as a human endeavor to more fully comprehend and live out the implications of these enduring truths within the dynamic context of human history. In a secular context, while ethical systems can be developed and practiced, theists assert that without a transcendent point of reference, such systems lack the ontological foundation required to affirm their objective validity and binding nature, potentially leading to relativism, where moral norms become contingent upon the prevailing sentiments of the time. In essence, theism offers an account of morality, meaning, and purpose that integrates the empirical world we live in with a deeper, metaphysical reality that provides coherence and fullness to the human experience in ways that purely secular paradigms may find challenging to replicate.
Thank you, Jordan and Alex, for the enlightening discussion and your thoughtful responses during the cross-examination. We now move to the closing arguments round of our debate. In this stage, each speaker will have the opportunity to summarize their key points and provide final reflections on the debate. This is the moment to reinforce your central arguments, address any remaining issues, and leave a lasting impression on the audience. We will begin with Alex, who will offer their closing remarks, followed by Jordan. Please be concise and clear, summarizing your perspective on the topic of atheism. Alex, the floor is yours.
In closing, I would like to reiterate the fundamental tenets that underpin atheism and why it stands as a compelling worldview. Atheism calls for a reliance on empirical evidence, critical thinking, and reason as the primary tools for understanding the universe and our place within it. The methods of science, while not exhaustive of all knowledge, remain the most reliable way to ascertain truths about our world and inform our values and ethical systems. Furthermore, atheism offers a path to morality that is based on the intrinsic worth of human beings and our capacity for empathy, cooperation, and reasoned discourse. It empowers us to construct moral frameworks that are adaptable and relevant to the challenges we face, rooted in the shared human experience and the collective good. Importantly, atheism is not synonymous with certainty or dogmatism. It is a position that reflects a provisional understanding of the universe, one that is always open to revision in light of new evidence. For atheists, the lack of belief in deities is not derived from a closed mindset, but from a commitment to intellectual integrity and the courage to pursue truth, even when it challenges our preconceptions. Atheism acknowledges the wonder and complexity of the cosmos, inspiring us to seek meaning in our connections with others and our contributions to the world, without recourse to supernatural explanations. It encourages us to lead lives of purpose and fulfillment through our actions and choices, guided by compassion and an ethical commitment to the betterment of humanity. In a time of significant scientific advancement and social transformation, atheism remains a viable and vibrant approach to living a meaningful life. It is an affirmative stance that champions human potential, ethical progress, and the boundless pursuit of knowledge. It demonstrates how awe-inspiring the natural world is without the need for the supernatural, and underscores the importance of human agency in shaping a just and ethical society. Thank you for your attention and consideration.
I appreciate the lively exchange of ideas in today's discussion. In summary, my position challenges the presumption that atheism is the most rational or the only meaningful worldview. I assert that theism, acknowledging a reality beyond empirical science, complements our pursuit of understanding with a necessary depth that atheism alone cannot provide. Science is a powerful tool, yet it is not the sole arbiter of truth. Theism embraces the full spectrum of human experience, including the transcendent aspects that science can describe but not explain. It recognizes the existence of objective moral values that, while they might evolve in their application, are not merely the product of cultural or social evolution, but reflect a higher moral order. My argument is not against the value of empirical evidence or the importance of rational inquiry. Instead, it is a call to consider the possibility that these valuable tools are part of a larger tapestry that includes, rather than excludes, the potential of metaphysical realities. Theism provides an ontology that affirms the existence of an enduring moral framework, imbuing our lives with inherent purpose and value beyond the constructs of human minds. It offers a foundation for hope, motivation, and commitment to virtue, challenging us to transcend our limitations and contribute to something greater. In the face of life's mysteries and in the quest for a deeper understanding, theism stands not as an outdated relic of pre-scientific thought, but as a viable and rational worldview that complements the scientific account of reality without contradiction. It speaks to the innermost drives for meaning, the search for beauty and goodness, and the recognition of a reality that transcends the empirical. By embracing theism, we allow for a richer conception of existence, one that can endure through the changes of society and anchor our most profound moral and existential pursuits. I conclude by advocating for a perspective that is open to the realms of possibility beyond the empirically verifiable, one that finds harmony in the marriage of reason and faith, and that ultimately offers a wellspring of meaning and ethics deeply ingrained in our humanity. Thank you to everyone present for considering this viewpoint with open minds and hearts.
Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of today's thought-provoking debate. I'd like to express my deepest gratitude to Alex and Jordan for their eloquent and insightful contributions, and to you, our audience, for your attention and engagement. It's been a stimulating exchange of ideas on the topic of atheism, and I hope it has provided you with food for thought. Before we sign off, I'd like to remind everyone that this debate was entirely AI-generated. The arguments and opinions presented by the debaters do not reflect personal views, but rather are constructed responses in the context of this intellectual exercise. This channel does not endorse any specific stance on the matter discussed. We invite our viewers to share their thoughts and reactions in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this debate, please don't hesitate to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. Your participation helps us continue creating content that sparks discussion and expands our perspectives. Thank you all once again, and we look forward to having you join us in future debates.